for working to ensure that Florida remains at the center of America's historic achievements in space exploration. You and Lieutenant Governor Carroll have recognized and embraced the ambitious path forward that President Obama and Congress have set us on, and together we're going to win the future right here in Florida. And we're so proud to partner with Space Florida and Boeing in the milestone agreement to bolster the rapidly expanding commercial space industry and bring new jobs to the Space Coast. So if anyone had any doubt that Kennedy Space Center would remain open for business, this new agreement allowing Space Florida to lay the groundwork for a world-class commercial space industry here should put that notion to rest. But even before we formed this new partnership, the Obama administration recognized how important the Space Coast is as a center of environmental, entrepreneurial, and spaceflight innovation. The President is backing that up with smart investments. Just recently, the Commerce Department awarded $1.7 million Green Challenge grant to the University of Central Florida to support the university's efforts at driving technology commercialization and entrepreneurship to grow a green innovation economy. Commerce's Economic Development Administration also recently awarded a $2.8 million grant to the city of Palm Bay, Florida, to make critical roadway infrastructure improvements needed to help a major local employer, Harris Corporation, expand its operations. The project is expected to create 180 jobs and generate $100 million in private investment. And the city of Titusville was just awarded a $2.1 million Job Accelerator Award through Space Florida. So as today's event confirms, the administration's decision to transport astronauts and cargo to the International Space Station over to our commercial crew partners is also reaping big dividends for the Space Coast. At the President's direction, we're engaging American companies in this work so that NASA can focus on what we do best, developing that next generation rocket and capsule system for human space flights to deep space destinations where we have never been before. But not only did we have only a single point foreign access to the space station with our former plan in the past administration, but we wouldn't have even had the space station had we not been able to extend its operations as the President did and the Congress confirmed in their budget. We now have extended the operation of the space station to at least 2020, which again means jobs in Central Florida for processing equipment and supplies to the ISS, as well as future launches of both cargo and crew. So with the President's support, NASA established the Commercial Crew Office right here at the Kennedy Space Center to manage our commercial space activities that will be critical to the nation's spaceflight. In President's budget request next year, we include $850 million for this program. The President's budget also recommends funding to modernize the launch infrastructure here at KSC and for the FAA's Commercial Spaceflight Center. So the Space Coast is certainly high on the administration's agenda. And while some have been slow to embrace the progress that we all want to make here in Florida, we can't wait for progress when American jobs are at stake and the United States leadership in space is being challenged by other countries. America has been the world leader in space exploration for more than 50 years, and if we stick to the ambitious plan laid out by the President and Congress, we will remain the leader for the next half-century. The agreement being announced today is the latest sign of tangible progress as Kennedy transitions from a government-only launch complex to a multi-user spaceport. It's also part of a larger commitment on the part of NASA and the Obama administration to bring jobs and economic development to the Space Coast by building on all of Kennedy's world-class launch capabilities. Just 3 weeks ago, Administrator Bolden was here to tour the new mobile launcher that will be used to launch our new deep space exploration vehicle to an asteroid, back to the moon, and on to Mars. Work is also continuing here on the Orion spacecraft, the next vehicle in which astronauts will travel again beyond low Earth orbit. And we have supplemented our agreements with Boeing and other commercial partners who are making great strides toward the capabilities to reach low Earth orbit and to the ISS. The agreement we have that we're announcing today with Space Florida is that important step in our efforts to make the best use of Kennedy Space Center's world-class assets. We're exploring other potential partnerships with commercial and government entities for space-related uses of facilities and assets here as well. So these partnerships provide avenues for sustaining the skilled workforce that we have at Kennedy, which is critical to helping us take the next big leap in human space exploration. So again, thank you to Bob Cabana and the team at Kennedy. We so appreciate your work. Thank you, Governor Scott, Frank DeBello, folks at Space Florida, and to all of our congressional supporters. The agreement not only strengthens Space Florida and Boeing, but it's a clear sign that NASA will continue to be an engine of growth for jobs and economic development for America and here on the Space Coast for years to come. Thank you very much and congratulations.
I'd like to introduce our Florida State Representative from the 24th District, the Honorable Sandy Adams. In the House, Congresswoman Adams serves on the Committee on Science, Space, and Technology, as well as the Judiciary Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congresswoman Sandy Adams.
Thank you. And thank you for allowing me to be here with you today. And any day that I can say jobs are going to be created in Florida's 24th District is a good day. Florida Space Coast has experienced devastating job losses since the ending of the Space Shuttle program, so the announcement today that the Boeing Company plans to locate its commercial crew program headquarters here at Kennedy Space Center is welcomed news. Boeing chose Kennedy Space Center because it is a world-class launching and integration facility with the best technologically equipped assets in the world. So there's no question why Boeing has chosen to have the center of their commercial crew program here at Kennedy. Additionally, they recognize a highly skilled workforce and synergy that comes from being locally integrated with your customer. Kennedy Space Center has been the heart of America's human space exploration for decades. Children along the Space Coast have grown up watching the shuttle launches from their porches and their beachfront, and with the sense of pride and awe. I watched with great sadness when the shuttle Atlantis landed last July, knowing that it marked the end of an era that so greatly defined our country and more specifically Florida's Space Coast. For 30 years, America's shuttle program has been more than just space exploration to Florida families. It's part of their lives, their history, and their livelihoods. But as we close one chapter of our nation's history, we open the other door. The Commercial Crew Development Program is the best near-term hope we have of getting American astronauts on American rockets built by our American aerospace workforce to the International Space Station. The recent failure of a Russian cargo mission highlights the problems associated with relying on foreign countries to access the ISS. Even though scientists have pinpointed that error caused on the Russian mission to crash, and the Soyuz has once again been qualified for flight, the failure still raises serious questions about consistent American access to a vital taxpayer investment. Countries like China and India realize the importance of having access to space, and they're working towards a robust and highly skilled space industry. As they continue to chart their own course, America must continue to chart ours so that we maintain leadership in space. As America takes steps towards the next chapter of space exploration, it is imperative that Congress remains vigilant in its support of the efforts of the Commercial Crew and the COTS program. It is imperative that Congress ensure that they have the tools they need to be ready to carry crew to station as soon as practically possible without sacrificing safety. The Boeing Company is helping lead the way in the next chapter of human space flight, and I am proud that they have chosen our community for their home. America has staked its ground in space exploration, and now is not the time to lose that ground. We must remain steadfast in our efforts. Thank you.
Our next speaker is the Florida State Representative from the 15th District, the Honorable Bill Posey. In the House, Congressman Posey serves on the Financial Services Committee, and is also a member of the House Republican Study Committee. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Congressman Bill Posey.
Thank you, Joyce. It's a great day to be alive. Every day is a great day to be alive, but some are greater, and this is one of those greater days. Celebrating Boeing's selection of the Space Coast to develop their commercial crew capability is extra great. The commercial crew program represents our greatest near-term hope for returning our astronauts to low Earth orbit and the International Space Station aboard American-made vehicles. This capability will allow NASA to focus on exploring deeper into our solar system and beyond. The 550 jobs that will be created right here on the Space Coast are a welcome symbol of great things yet to come. Our Space Coast community has been through a lot. A lot of turmoil has passed. Over the years, it's been tough. And the retirement of the Shuttle hurt. It served us well for 30 years. But it wasn't the end of the program. After all, it's been the workers here on the Space Coast who've kept our shuttle flying and made sure that the last flight was one of the best ever. While the commercial crew program alone certainly would never fill the void left by the retirement of the Shuttle, this announcement serves as further confirmation that Kennedy Space Center will remain the center of human spaceflight, whether on NASA's Space Launch System or one provided by one of our commercial partners. Your efforts have helped keep the United States the leader in space. Thank you for all of your hard work, your perseverance, as we turn to the next chapter of space exploration. God bless you all, and God bless America.
Our next speaker is our United States Senator representing Florida, the Honorable Bill Nelson. In the Senate, Senator Nelson serves on the Senate Commerce, Budget, Finance, Intelligence, and Aging Committees. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senator Bill Nelson.
Thank you, Governor. It's great to be home. Not only my home county where I grew up, but most of you don't know that just 3 miles up the road at the north end of the Space Shuttle runway, 99 years ago, my grandmother and grandfather homesteaded under the Homestead Act, which if you worked the land for 4 continuous years, the government would deed you 160 acres of land. It was a little settlement there called Wilson's Corner, what is today the corner of Beach Road and the State Road 3, and how they eked out a living swatting mosquitoes and holding off rattlesnakes and alligators and scratching through the dirt for a few little citrus trees and some crops. And during World War I, they cut broom straw that naturally grows in the salt marsh right to the west. And so when I say it's a privilege to come home, indeed it is. Ladies and gentlemen, the dream is alive. You look at what all we've announced here today. You look at the fact that we have a head of NASA who really knows what he's doing, a deputy that's got fire in the belly, and a center director here who is unequal, not only in his ability, but in his heart for the people, to take care of his people. That's the strength of this program. You all have been very kind with your comments about me, but let me tell you, Senator Kay Bailey Hutchinson of Texas